Thank you so much, Namaskar. Um, it's a pleasure to be here today in ASMA's conference on women leadership in education. Um, really, I do not understand this. Why you differentiate between men and women in education? I'm a gender neutral person. So, anyways, but because you have done it, and we have to do it to encourage other people, and this is the norm. This is to be politically correct. So, let me tell you that being a woman has never been a consideration in my journey in education or in any other sector, administration, or in my own studies or anywhere. But yes, let's be honest here that there are certain issues that are faced by women in various sectors of society, right from safety and security to the attitudinal bringing up to the glass ceiling. In fact, 3-4 days back only somebody was asking me whether I ever faced a glass ceiling and whether a glass ceiling exists in education sector or not. Frankly, precisely, I do not think that there is a glass ceiling in education sector. But I have not yet understood why there are very few, rather, hardly you can name them on the tips. I don't think I'll be able to come across anyone except one or two from my own state. Very few women vice chancellors in the country. I've not been able to get an answer to this question in the last 4+ years that I've served in higher education. And quite often I ask my colleagues, women colleagues, why is this like that? I have so many women professors in the higher education setup everywhere. In fact, higher education teaching is one of the areas where you have comparatively a higher percentage of women employees, women lecturers, professors, everybody. But when it comes to vice chancellors, why don't I see very many women vice chancellors? On the other hand, in the school side, there are so many women principals. There are so many women administrators of the schools, directors of the schools. What happens in higher education? And vice chancellor, why it is always Kulpati? So, and Kulpati somehow has become so synonymous with a man being the vice chancellor. So that's why I told my minister, I said, sir, I want a few. I told my chief minister also, chief minister sir also, sir, I want a few women vice chancellors as a matter of deliberate policy intervention. And of course, he acceded to my request. And as of now, I have 2 of them in the entire state, in the state sector. One, a regular one, and the second one is holding charge. So these are the things that we need to ponder upon when we are having a conference for the women leaders in education. Why does it happen? Is it a glass ceiling that we have created for ourselves? Is it a glass ceiling that has been created by the society? Is it a glass ceiling that has been created by the menfolk? Or is it a glass ceiling that kind of has got created on its own because the women leaders have not been able to develop certain qualities which are required in vice chancellors, which possibly their men counterparts have? Now we have women ministers all over, women MLAs, women in Panchayati Raj, everywhere. So leadership qualities are certainly there. And even now in USA, you have a woman vice president, designate. So one has to look into this aspect very, very closely. that when it comes to an appointment by selection, okay, got it? An appointment by selection based on something else other than an examination. Why do women lag behind? And this is just a question that all of us have to think. And all of us have to look into our own self. Where are we erring? Where are we making a mistake? Is it that the system of selection is such? I don't know. This question, I've not been able to answer this question so far. So I won't be talking about this. I will be talking about something else. I will be talking about how women leaders I have seen have contributed a lot in the education sector. And what I have seen is, especially in the education sector, women have contributed phenomenally as far as teaching is concerned. They're very good teachers, very good guides, they're very good coaches. But somehow when it comes to managing teams, when it comes to managing administrative positions, their contribution is phenomenal and their contribution is exemplary. Wherever I have found, I see a women counterpart when I'm talking to somebody in, like, for example, if I'm talking to somebody in UGC or if I'm talking to somebody in AICT, then wherever I have women counterparts, I see more positivity, keenness to deliver, more responsiveness, more responsibility, and I'm more comfortable. Not only as a woman talking to them, but I know a response is going to come from here. So whether it's Pankaj Mittal or anybody, then I know that this thing will not go unaddressed now. There is somebody responsible sitting over there. And that is why women are valued a lot in education. You see, in the school sector, all the school, I think about 60 to 70% of the schools are being, I don't have any data for that, but what I know from my experience probably, 60 to 70% of schools are being run by principals who are women. Not because they are wives or sisters of somebody, but they have risen from their performance as teachers, and from teachers they come as on administrative positions as vice principals or as I don't know what is that designation in the schools, and then they come to principals. They're in charge of their sections, and then they rise up to their positions as principals, and they do very good work. Because in the school sector, still it has been established that their ability to deliver is far more than their men counterparts, and their compassion, their responsibility, their responsiveness brings a lot of impact on the performance of the school. Not only that, when they're handling parents or when they're handling visitors, they're handling other stakeholders, their approach is much more responsive than their male counterparts. And that's why in school sector it has been accepted as a matter of fact, or as a matter of the norm, that woman principal will turn out to be a very good principal. I don't know whether there is any research on that. When it comes to research per se, so somebody is here writes that, Anju ma'am, there is a justified reason why women are preferred as principals for schools. So yes, so that's what I said. So when it comes to in higher education, when it comes to research, we have a large number of women scientists, and our women scientists are there everywhere, even in very conspicuous positions in WHO, and even abroad. They have traveled abroad into various research laboratories, in, to MIT and Stanford, and there they are doing great work. So it is the time that we celebrate, we felicitate their contribution towards the education sector as a whole, and to present before others that what their contribution to society is. But at the same time, despite the contribution these women have made, if today somebody offers them a vice chancellor's position, I'm sure 70% of them will say no. That's what I have seen. And the reason why they say no is they want to focus on their work. They want to operate in a system which is fair, which has least ambiguities, and where they can operate with dignity where they can contribute with a lot of dignity. And that's one of the reasons that where there are a lot of conflicting stakes and a large number of stakeholders that are involved, women try to avoid such situations because, as a matter of fact, they are not very pro-conflict. That's right, because I know, being a woman, that we are not very pro-conflict. And conflicts brings a lot of stress on us. It's not like that hunting zone that, which gives adrenaline to a man. Somehow it doesn't give adrenaline to a woman. And that's why probably we see a few women in those positions where there are complicated stakeholders and conflicts involved in managing the situation. But one has to understand that if we do not do it, somebody else does it. And somebody else does not do it as better as we can do it. And therefore, we should take the responsibility that we should do it. Let there be conflict. We will manage the conflict. Don't we manage the conflict at home? Don't we manage the conflict in society? So we should also take that onus on us. That not that we cannot do it, but we will do it. And we choose to do it. And that's why, and therefore we ought to do it. That should come in the torchbearers of the women folk, in the educationists, and they should come up in the very high positions. I want to see a scenario where 50% vice chancellors are women, like the principals. And that scenario is not very far. We just have to decide. We just have to decide that we have to do it. We just have to make a firm resolve that we have to do it. And we are moving towards it. Today, ASMA has organized this event to felicitate India's top 20 women leaders. I don't know what is the basis of identifying top 20 women leaders, but yes, all the 20 women that they have selected, they are exceptional and outstanding. I have gone through the names, and they have made significant contributions, and they are an inspiration for so many women to achieve something, to contribute to the society, and to take some onus on themselves to bring a change, to make a difference. And that's what we have to accept as a challenge and move ahead. So I'm sure you all will be a great inspiration to the entire society. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you so much.